And I put my boat in the water on a Tuesday, I fell on a Thursday, and I turned 50 that Monday. So it wasn't a very good, I went 49 back real bad. The whole time I was laid up, it was probably, like I said, as Wendy said, it was the most horrific thing that ever happened to me. I'm an avid boater. In fact, one of the guys I work with, we just came down on a boat from the upper Chesapeake and had a beautiful ride down. It was lovely coming down. So we were kind of excited to get here until I got a call from Matt. He asked me where I was at and was trying to hurry up. Had to get changed on the boat and run around the corner, and we're here. I've always been skeptical of insurance. As a policeman dealing with the insurance companies, especially now as a patrol sergeant, got my guys doing accidents. We run into all sorts of trouble. You get arguments, and you have the adjusters coming out, and they're questioning the reports. So I was never a big insurance guy. One day I happened to be working, and my partner, one of my colleagues who came down with me by boat, happened to be going by me. And I know he's on midnight shift, and I see him going down to 926 there, and I called him on the phone. I said, what are you doing up, man? You're supposed to be sleeping. He says, well, I'm going to go in and check this Aflac thing. I said, hell with that. I'm not going. That's crazy. I'm not going to go there. So I start driving up the road a little bit more. I start thinking, well, you know what? Maybe I'll check it out and see how it goes. And if I like it, of course, I go in there. There's three or four other guys waiting. I sit down in front of the gentleman who was on the computer, and he's speaking this accidental, and I don't know what the hell he's talking about. So I said, listen, sign me up for the accidental and the sickness, and God forbid I won't use it. This was April. On May the 22nd, I fell. I made one premium. I made one payment. And when I fell, of course, my wife wasn't home. She had taken the dog to the vet. None of my kids were home. So I was out probably for, they're saying maybe 5-10 minutes. I had a concussion. I don't know how I got up off the ground, but when I got up off the ground, this left arm, which was most severe, was swelled up over my watch. Nobody's around. I'm trying to get the watch off, not realizing I have no coordination because this wrist was broke. So I stood there for several minutes. One of my neighbors happened to walk by, and she says, Jim, what happened? I said, I don't know what happened. My nose was bleeding. I had a gash. The next thing you know, I'm in the ambulance. Here comes my wife pulling up with the dog coming from the vet. This big ambulance out there. They want to put me in a helicopter. They want to fly me because I got knocked out. I'm arguing with the ambulance people. I'm screaming at them. So ended up going to the hospital, and they kept me overnight, and my partner will tell you back there, I was yelling at the doctors, yelling at the nurses, screaming at my kids. Nothing changed. So, my son looks at me and says, Dad, the best thing that could happen to you, maybe get your jaw busted so you wouldn't be able to yell anymore. Next thing you know, they're clearing out all the treatment rooms on both sides of me and moving the people to the back of the ER to keep them away from me. The one doctor who I know very well comes in and says, Jim, you got to shut the hell up, man. This is getting out of hand. So the following morning, I had the surgery. Once again, I come out of the surgery, and the first thing that comes to mind is, why couldn't I have done it on the job? In Pennsylvania, if you get hurt on the job, the whole time you're out, you get your salary tax-free, and if you do go out work-related, disability, you get your salary and medical for the rest of your life. So that old thing about try to get into work, if I could have, I would have, but I didn't. I'm not going to lie to you. So next thing we know, I call Kathy, who's the office manager of our police department. It's about a 41, 42-man police department located outside of Westchester, Pennsylvania. And our office manager, and I start saying, well, Kath, I just signed up for this Aflac. And she's telling me, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it. Well, this is when Wendy Hook comes in. I've never met her, but I bet you I talked to her 100 times on the telephone. And I'm not kidding you, my wife has said it, she's an angel. Because my wife, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, she is a true dago. And you have to grab her by the hand and explain everything to her. Now, I got a little Italian in me, but I got more Irish. So, my wife is flabbergasted. I'm laying on the couch, with Percocets and Vicodins in me, still hollering, yelling at my kids. And it's my birthday when I get out of the hospital. In fact, I was going to send a picture. They asked me for a photograph, and they sent that there. But they had me in a hospital gown eating birthday cake with a bottle of beer and a straw sitting in the hospital gown. So the kids propped me up, made me look like an idiot is what they did. So I was really worried. And of course, you always have savings, and you never want to tap the savings. And I was scared. I'm not kidding you. I had nowhere to go. I talked to Kathy. She called Wendy. Wendy got on the phone, must have been on the phone 15 times a day with my wife. She had to explain the same thing over again. But we got it right. It took me a month and a half, almost 2 months, to get a check from my non-work-related disability. And I'm not kidding you. And that's just their normal procedure, according to them. I had a check within, I'm going to say, about 2 weeks from Aflac. And the checks are coming in. I'm thinking, something's not right here. I mean, they're giving me one for taking a ride in an ambulance. They're giving me one for each fracture. They gave me a CAT scan. I'm thinking, I don't even remember this guy telling me all this stuff. And after a while, I start feeling guilty because I'm thinking, am I going to get locked up? Is this real money? Or? But I got to tell you guys, and I mean it from the heart. I mean, like I said, I could be a hard-nosed guy. I bought dope for 9 years, 5, 6 nights a week throughout Chester County. I've been on the job. We've had a couple of serious incidents I've been involved in not too long ago, and I can be a hard ass. But this touched me on the way this company affected me. And probably, like I said, and there's no doubt about it, the most horrific time of my life. It was depressing. Not only are you worried about the finances, you're worried about, am I going to be able to go back to work? I had no issues or problems with Aflac. I called if I had a question. Like I said, my wife called 15, 20 times a day. I think they had her number blocked there to while poor Wendy. But it was fabulous. And then I started getting phone calls from guys who didn't join. And they're asking me, well, what happened? I said, I'm telling them all this money I'm getting. And they said, are you serious? I said, yeah. Well, next thing you know, everybody's joining. They got a line. They're going to Kathy, asking her when the next enrollment time is going to be. And it's just made a really tough time. And that was the only bright thing out of it all. Finally, I guess a month and a half later, my first disability, non-work-related disability check rolled in. And Aflac kept me above water. I didn't have to tap my savings. I mean, it's just something that I'll never forget. And I'm telling you, I hated insurance companies, and just because of my job. You see these commercials, and you see these things on TV, and I've been through it. I tell people all the time I see now from other police departments and other places where they work, if you have the opportunity, and believe me, if you guys are anything like Wendy, it's unbelievable. I'm not kidding you. She's an angel in our family, and it's something I'll never forget. So keep doing what you're doing. And I'll be bluntly, it's not bullshit. It's true. I tell everybody that. Thank you very much.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Chevy John Brown come for you? Tell me what you wanna do.
Jim, as a token of appreciation, we just want to give you a little Aflac gift so you can remember us when you're home. And it's a beautiful day out, so I know you want to get on your boat, but you guys can stay for lunch if you want.
Oh, yeah.
I really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thanks again, guys.
What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you...
I got a couple of housekeeping things to touch base with before we break for lunch.